G'day and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to make the child version of the tank top that we've seen in the adult version. So if you're looking for an adult version, you can find the link for that one in the description box. But this one is for a child, and this one's a newborn size. How adorable is it? So this is an adult size coat hanger, so you can see that it's really small. It's so cute. So this can be made in different sizes, and I will explain that all in the video. If you would like the written pattern for this video, there is a link in the description box. If you have made the child cardigan or even the adult cardigans before, you will be familiar on how to measure your garment. But if not, I will teach you everything you need to know in this video tutorial. The yarn that I have used here has been supplied by redheart.com, so a huge thank you to Redheart. If you'd like to find some more awesome yarn and also free written patterns, go to redheart.com. Subscribe to my channel for any further video tutorials or any videos that I release. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we're going to need a yarn needle with a large eye, a pair of scissors, a pencil or a pen, but I would recommend a pencil, a stitch marker. This can be a locking stitch marker or even just a spare piece of yarn. Going to need a tape measure or a ruler, and a crochet hook to go with your yarn. I will be using a 5.5mm crochet hook because I'm using worsted weight or 10 ply yarn, but you can use 8 ply or double knit, which can also be called a light worsted weight, and you will need a 4mm or a G size crochet hook, and the 5.5 is a I size crochet hook. So the yarn I'm going to be using is Redheart Super Saver. I'm trying to work from my stash, and I do have quite a bit of this Redheart Super Saver, but I've also made this project in a double knit yarn or an 8 ply yarn. So the 8 ply is an Australian weight yarn, and DK is usually used in England, but if you've got worsted weight or a 10 ply yarn, then you can use that as well. If you're using a 10 ply or a worsted weight yarn, this is going to come out bigger than using the DK yarn, so we're going to explain this in our pattern. And yeah, like I said, I'm just working from stash. This is a 200 gram, where is it? It's almost a 200 gram ball, or 7 ounces. You will not need the whole lot, and I will put across the screen how much I use for the size I'm making now. And it's also 333 meters or 364 yards. I'm using the color light raspberry. So this recommends a 5.5mm crochet hook or an I or a size 9. So this is an acrylic yarn, and we're going to get started on the pattern. So we've got a written pattern that goes along with this video tutorial, and you can find the link that's on in my description box, which is usually below or to the side of the video. You may need to click an arrow. And if you've never followed a written pattern before, or you don't know how, then this is a great way to learn. You can follow along with this pattern as well as a video tutorial. So your version will have a photo there, but I haven't made the item yet, so there's no photo. So everyone has different tension, so we're going to check round 1 with the measurements suggested that we've got here. So you'll see on the next page there's some suggested measurements, and you can check round 1 with that. So because everyone does have different tension, and you could use the same size yarn and the same size crochet hook as someone else, and it may turn out a different size. So once you've done round 1, you just want to measure just to make sure that's the suggested size that I've done. So once we have row 1 complete, we can see if it's going to fit, and we can again use the measurements that's on this pattern, and that is the opening of our summer top. So we want to find a t-shirt for the size that we want our garment to fit, and we're going to take a couple of measurements. I will be inserting some photos, and you will notice it's from an adult size top, but it doesn't matter because you're measuring it exactly the same. You're just going to write down the measurements that you get. And we can easily adjust the armhole depth, which is the measurement from our top of our shirt down to here. So we want a garment. This is a t-shirt, and that's what I use, as you'll see in the photos, what I used for mine. Mine was a long sleeve t-shirt, but you can use something like that. We don't want to use something that has a really big neck, like a really big opening, because that's not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our tape measure and we're going to measure around the neck opening. We're going to measure all the way around, and you'll see that in this photo. Then what we want to do is measure from the neck down to the armpit of the garment that we're making it for, and I'm going to insert that photo now. And the third measurement that we're going to write is the measurement from the top to the bottom. This is optional. Of course, you can adjust the length very easily, but if you wanted to make it the same as the other garment you're taking your measurements off, then you can just write that down. And you're going to write them down in the spaces provided on your pattern. So you want to match up the neck measurement with the info and make that many chains. So if you're using a DK weight yarn, this is how many chains we can do, the chains for the neck opening, and this is the measurement that we're going to get. So let's just say we're making it for a baby that's got a 40 centimetre head, because of course you want the garment to go over their head. If you make it too small, it's not going to fit. So you've got a 40 centimetre head, and this is probably going to be around a 1-year-old. So I just wrote some measurements down. Newborns 14 inch or 35 centimetres, 3 to 6 months 16 inches or 40 centimetres, and then 12 months is 17 inches or 43 centimetres. So I've just transferred that up to here. So this is approximately the size that it's going to turn out. Of course, if your tension is different, it's going to be a different size. So after you've done round 1, you're just going to measure and see what size it's going to come into. If you want to make a bigger size, you can go up a couple of crochet hook sizes, or if you need to make it a little bit smaller, don't make your tension too tight, but you can drop down a couple of crochet hook sizes. If we use worsted weight yarn, your smallest size is going to fit a newborn, your next size up will fit around about a 6 month, and the next size up will fit from 12 months to 2 years. Now, when you get the head measurement right, so the round 1, the head measurement will match up to that, it's very easy to make the armhole depth, which, just going back to our picture, is here. So the largest size that we have can be made into various different, or any of them can be made into various different sizes just by increasing more for the armhole depth. So to start with, all we need to do is get the first round correct. So I'm going to be using a worsted weight yarn, and I'm going to be using the smallest size, so it'll be 38 chains. So it's going to fit approximately a newborn. I've also added in some measurements here, and this will give us some chest measurements, and the main one we're going to be using is armhole depth, and that's the measurement from the neck to the armpit. And this is going to give us the guide if you don't have a sizing or a clothing for your sizing. So on our written pattern, it has 3 different sizes: small, medium, large, all the sizes that we mentioned before. So the first size is 38 chains, the second size is 50 chains, the third size is 62 chains. And you can see that that corresponds with the chains and the different sizes. So pick which size you want, and then you're going to mark out what chains you want. So I'm doing the smallest size, so I'm going to circle 38. I'm going to work my way along, and because I've chose the first number on the next section, the first number. Again, just working our way through the instructions. You're really only looking out for the numbers. So we've got one here, so there's 12, 14, 16, 20. So I'm circling the 12. And we should have a couple more. So working our way across, yep, we've got one there, so I'm going to circle the 4. And then again we've got one here, so it's 12. So if you're making the medium size, you're going to circle the 50, you're going to come across here, you're going to circle the 6, again you're going to circle the 16, and so on. So just decide what size you need to make and then circle the appropriate numbers. I'm only going to be showing you on the video tutorial how to make the smallest size. So if you need to make the bigger sizes, you're going to look at the pattern and just follow the number that it's telling you to do on that. We want to make a slip knot, and you want to leave about 3 to 4 inches, that's probably not enough, about 3 to 4 inches on the tail so that we can sew the gap shut later on. So you've got our tail there. And we're going to make 38 chains, or the amount that you need to do for the size you're making. So I have my 38 chains, or the amount that you need to do, and we're going to single crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. We don't count the one that's on our crochet hook. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to single crochet into there. We're going to single crochet into the next 4 chains, or the amount that you need to do. Into the next chain we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1 and a single crochet, and that's all into the same stitch. So the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet is our increase. Going to single crochet into the next 12 stitches, or the amount that you need to do. And then after we've got our 12 stitches, or however many you needed to do, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, or the amount that you need to do. And into the next chain we're going to do a single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. Single crochet into the next 12 stitches, or however many you need to do, and that should be the remaining chains that you have left. So if you got the right amount of stitches on the end, celebrate, because I love that feeling. So at the end we want to slip stitch to the 2nd chain of the beginning chain 2. So we want to make sure that our chain isn't twisted, and I'm just going to turn it upside down and then just make sure it's not twisted. So you can see there it's not twisted. We're going to bring it around, just making sure we pick up the right yarn, not the tail. We're going to slip stitch into the 2nd chain from the beginning. So you'll see that there is, it's only small, but there is a hole, and if you're using a double weight yarn it will be even smaller. You'll have 2 chain, 1 and 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the 2nd one. This is a little bit tricky, this little bit here. So now what you can do is measure the neck. This is the neck opening, and you can measure that and compare it to the sizes that we have on our written pattern. And if it's too small, you can go up to the next amount of chains, or if you find that's too tight, you could go up a crochet hook size just to make it a little bit looser. So there's a couple of options that you can do to make it a bigger size. If you need to make it smaller, then I would suggest using a thinner weight yarn. If you're using the worsted weight, which is the Red Heart Super Saver, which is an Australian 10-ply, you can drop down a crochet hook size or go up a hook size, depending on if you want it bigger or smaller, or you could drop down to a thinner yarn, which would be the DK or the 8-ply. Slip stitch into the chain 1 space, and then we're going to place a stitch marker into the slip stitch, and it's just to remind us to crochet into it when we come back around, because when I very first started designing this I kept forgetting. So in the chain 1 space, and if you're using a DK yarn, this is a little bit hard to see. If you're finding your chain 1 space is hard to find, you could change it to a chain 2 instead of a chain 1. So we're going to work a slip stitch into that chain 1 space, and the slip stitch we just did, don't pull it tight, and we're going to put our stitch marker through there. Can you see that? Sorry the lighting is a bit off today because it's a really miserable day outside. Chain 1, and it does not count as a stitch, it's just to get us up to the right level, and we're going to single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet all in that same chain 1 space. So we're going into the chain 1 space, working a single crochet, chain 1, and if you want to change it to a chain 2 because it's too hard to work into, go for it, that's fine. And go back into the same chain 1 space and work another single crochet. Single crochet into our single crochets, and then when we get to our chain 1 space, which is here somewhere, there, we're going to work our single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and that is our increase, and that's going to make the top of the garment that we're making, it's going to make it get bigger. So we're just single crocheting across to our next chain 1 space. And this may be a different amount depending on what size you're making. Into your chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. We're going to repeat this around. We're going to single crochet in our single crochets across, and our next chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So I'm just going to scoot across. When we're up to the chain 1 space, we are going to work single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. Another option you could do, if you're not being able to see your chain 1 space, grab some stitch markers and then just place a stitch marker in your chain 1 space, and then that will remind you when you come across. Because they're only small, they are a little bit hard to see and you could forget about it. So we're going to repeat this all the way around, doing single crochets into your single crochet, and work your increase, which is your single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet into your chain 1 space, which is there. It's quite easy to see because as you can see it goes flat here and there's a bump, and where the bump is where we've done our increase. So you'll know it's around there somewhere. So continue around and I'll meet you when we're ready to join. So we're coming back around and I've got my last stitch, which is my slip stitch, and I'm going to single crochet in that slip stitch. If you've worked it too tight, it's going to be a little hard to get into, and that's why I said don't work it too tight. And now we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet. And we will oh dear, we are going to repeat round 2, which is the round that we just did. So it's slip stitch across to the chain 1 space, put a stitch marker in the slip stitch, and we're going to increase into our chain 1 spaces and then just single crochet in the single crochets. So it's, oops, I'm going to do a chain 1, single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. I'm just going to show you this once more, and then we're just going to repeat this for as many rounds as we want to do. If you're doing the double knit or the 8-ply yarn, you are going to need more rounds because it does work up slower. Like, it gets, the thickness here is going to be a lot less than if you use the thicker yarn. Personally, I just love double knit yarn on babies. I think that's just so cute. But I'm trying to work from a stash, so this is something I had available. So I've just gone in my chain 1 space. It's a single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. Repeat this around and you'll notice that we'll start getting 4 sides. We can almost see that now. We'll start getting 4 sides to our work, and that's exactly what we want. I might just do 3 rounds for the worsted weight because this is only a small size. And if you're using the double knit yarn, you might want to work 6, between 4 and 6. I wouldn't do any more than 6 though, because it's for the way it looks on the top, so it's sort of proportioned. And then we can start the main part of our garment. So I'm going to finish this round and I'll meet you when I'm finished. And we join in exactly the same way as what we did just before. And yeah. So like I said, if you've got double knit yarn, you may have a couple of more rounds, but that's perfectly fine. From now on, the front and the back of the piece, we're going to turn at the end of each row. So what we want to do, so we've slip stitched our chain 1 space and we're going to turn our work around. So before we were just working all on the same side and it was all facing us. Now we're going to turn our work. So turn it the other way. So now we're working from this side and we're going to do a chain 1. That doesn't count as a stitch, it's just to get us up to the right height again. And we're going to single crochet in the chain 1 space. Go back into the chain 1 space and work 1 single crochet. We're going to single crochet in each single crochet across. So we're now working into the back of the work. So the first stitch I think is our slip stitch, so that might be a little bit harder to get. But from then on it should be smooth sailing. We're going to single crochet all the way across. So our single crochets are worked on the wrong side. So the wrong side, we're looking at the back of this first part. And then our treble stitch is worked on the right side of our work. So we're going to work all the way across. I'm just going to leave the video going. And when we get to our next chain 1 space, we're going to work a single crochet. So our chain 1 space is on the corner here, and we're going to go into there and work 1 single crochet. We're going to turn our work around and we're going to do 4 chains. And then we're going to work a treble stitch into the same stitch. So a treble stitch, we wrap our yarn twice, so once and twice, go into the same stitch. So chains coming out of here, go into that first one, yarn over, pull up a loop, you've got 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, you've got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, you've got 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2. In each stitch across we're going to work 1 treble, and when we get to the end we're going to work 2, and this is the increasing for this part of the garment. So wrapping twice, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do this all the way across. So I'm going to work across, so pause the video and I'll meet you when we're up to the end. So our last stitch is here, you can see it's sticking out, and we're going to work into there, and we want to work 2 trebles all together. So just put your second one in the same stitch. And the single crochet row and the treble row are our repeat for this pattern. But what we want to do is we also want to pay attention to the armhole depth, and that is measured from here to the end of this row. So from there to there. So that line that goes up, that's where we're going to measure. So I'm going to measure that now. I love this tape measure, but it keeps retracting and it scares me. Because it always does it when I'm not paying attention. Okay, so we don't want to stretch it out a lot, but we just want to make sure it's sitting where it should be. And at the moment I have approximately 2.5 inches for the armhole depth. I'm just going to retract that so it doesn't scare us all. We can see here, so I had a 2.5 inch armhole depth. So we can see here for a newborn size, which is what I'm making, we want 3 inches. So I want to increase until I get the measurement that I need here, or if you've got a measurement on this part of your pattern, so you've got your armhole measurement where the red arrow is, so we measured from there to there, you're going to keep increasing until you have that armhole measurement. Because I don't have any baby clothes, then I'm just using the armhole measurement, the suggested length, because yeah, I don't have any garments to measure. So, but if you've got garments to measure, then you can just use that. So I'm going to increase again. What do I need to do? I need to be about 1/2 inch to get this. So because our treble stitch is so tall, especially if we're using the worsted weight yarn, it's going to be a lot taller than a double knit yarn. Mine is approximately 1 inch high. So you're not going to get your exact armhole measurement, but you're better off to make it a little bit bigger than smaller, so that there's lots of growing room. And just an important note, we want to repeat these 2 rows, so single crochet in a treble row, until we have our measurement, and we're going to end on the treble row. So the treble row will be our last row, and then I'll show you what to do next. So our next row, we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn our work, and it's a single crochet row, and we just single crochet all the way across. You're going to go into the first stitch, so go in there, and we don't do any increasing, so it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So you want to make sure that you get the last stitch, and if you look at that, it might look like we've got the last stitch, but the last stitch is the chain 4, the turning chain 4. So you can see here, there's no single crochet in the top there. This single crochet is going in the top of that stitch. So you want to make sure you get that last one. And it's only 1 single crochet because there's no increasing for this row. We're going to turn our work around and we're going to chain 4. We're going to work a treble into the same stitch. So that very first stitch. So this is repeating the previous treble row. So you're going to treble all the way across and then work 2 trebles in that last stitch. And what we want to do is we want to grab our tape measure and we're going to measure our armhole depth, because I'm pretty sure then after this treble row it's going to be increased enough so that it's going to fit a newborn. And so yeah, what we're going to do is grab our tape measure and we're going to, this thing keeps retracting and scaring the life out of me. We're going to measure, oh, stop it, I need to get a tape measure that doesn't do that. So we're going to measure from the corner here. So if this was on the person, you would fold that down. Oh, so cute. And then we're going to measure from here along where the increasing was, along down this edge. So for a newborn, I need a 3-inch increase. And because the trebles are quite tall, you're not going to get this measurement exact. So you can see here that it's about to there for 3 inches, but I've still got that little bit extra. It's better off being a little bit too big than too small, because you can't wear it. And yeah, so that's my increasing. So that's my increasing done. So I just need to finish off that row. So I need to just do my trebles across and then 2 in the end. And we want to finish this repeat. So our repeat is our single crochet row and our treble row. And we want to finish our repeat on a treble row. So this is going to be my last row. So pause the video now, and when we come back, we will be on to the next part. And that's the front finish for me, because my armhole depth from up here to down here is just over 3 inches, and I needed 3 inches for my measurement. We're going to finish off here because we want to complete the other side. So I'm just going to cut my yarn. Just thread the yarn back through the loop. And this is the front or the back. They're basically the same. But I like to see how here we need to join that later on. I normally just put that to the back. But it really doesn't notice too much. So that's the first side done. And what we're going to do is attach our yarn to the wrong side. How do you know where the wrong side is? Remember the side when we did this first few rounds here? This is the right side that we worked on. And your tail here, the side that we just worked, the tail is going to be on the right hand side. And that's going to be the right side. Because if we look at the wrong side, which I know this is the wrong side, my yarn is over on the left hand side. That doesn't work for all projects. I think it's the other way around if it's a blanket or something. I don't know. But just for this project, that's how it's going to work. So we want to go to the wrong side. So we want to flip it over. So we're looking at the back of our work, and our starting tail is going to be on the left hand side if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, it's going to be on the right hand side. So we want to grab our yarn. Where's our yarn? Grab our yarn, and we're going to attach it to the chain 1 space, the first one of the row. Going to leave a little bit so we can sew our ends in later. We're going to find a chain 1 space over here. The reason we're working on the wrong side is because remember how I said our single crochet is our wrong side row and our treble is our right side row. So we're going to work single crochets across, and when we turn, we'll be on the right side for the treble stitch. So we're going to do a chain 1 and single crochet in the same space. And we're going to single crochet in every stitch across. And I'm actually working over my tails as I go, so that's one less tail to sew in. So continue all the way across, and then when we get to our chain 1 space, we're going to work a single crochet. So we're going to work into our chain 1 space with a single crochet, and then we're going to turn our work around. We are going to chain 4 because we are up to our treble row. Hang on, I'm just getting stuck in my yarn off camera. Oof, come on. And so we're going to chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work a treble in the same stitch. And this side of the work, so we've just completed the first side, and this side of the work is just repeating what we did over the other side. So it was 2 trebles in the same stitch, treble in every stitch across, and 2 trebles in the end. Then we're going to work our single crochet row, which was, we're going to turn your work, chain 1, and single crochet all the way across. So you want to repeat this side. You want to repeat this side until you have the exact same as what you did on the other side. So I've got a treble, a single crochet row, and a treble row. So I'm going to just repeat this on this side until it matches that one. So you're going to have something that looks like this. It may be a different size, but that's perfectly fine. So we finished on our treble row, and now we want to put in our single crochet row, and we are going to turn. We are joining, so we will be joining our little cute little top together, but we still want to turn because we want to continue on with the right side and wrong side. So we're going to do our single crochet. So we're going to turn our work around, and you're going to single crochet all the way across. So I'm going to meet you when we're up to this end here. So we were starting there, we'll single crochet all the way across, and we're going to join our work together. So you're going to go to the opposite side here, which is up there. So basically, if you're going to fold it in half, we're going to join down here. You want to chain 3. You can adjust this amount of chains to however many you want. You could do less chains, you could do more chains. It really doesn't matter under the arm. And let's say you make one and it's too tight under the arm, means you just need to add in some more chains. But I think for this baby version, for all 3 sizes, I think chain 3 is enough. It just gives you a little bit of extra room under the arm. Right, so we're going to single crochet in over here. And single crochet in there, but just keep your tight tension because otherwise this will go really loose and it looks really odd. You want to make sure that crochet stitch there is just normal and it's not really loose. So now we're going to single crochet all the way across again. So pause the camera. Pause the camera. You can't pause the camera. I can. Pause the video and I will be back with you when we're at to the end of this row, which is over here. So don't forget to single crochet in the chaining 4 just there, and we're going to do a chain 3, and then we're going to come to this other side here, which is all sort of munched up. We're going to come to the other side, so it's just the other armhole that we're going to join. You'll only have another one, so there won't be anything else to choose from. And we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet because we've already single crocheted on that side. So we just want to slip stitch to join. And keeping in the pattern, we're going to turn at the end of each round now, because now we're going to be working in rounds and we're going to be completing the body of our work. At the moment it is inside out. So, well, mine is inside out, but that's the top. It's so cute. So if you want, you can turn it the right side out just to have a look at it. It's so cute. This would look cute with a little flower, a little love heart stuck up here. It's really cute. Alrighty, so at the moment we are going to be working. Sorry, no, we're not. We are going to be working on the outside now, aren't we? Because we're going to be doing our treble rounds, so we need to turn. So we've just come across, done our single crochet, we need to turn our work. So we will be now looking at the outside. I did just turn mine inside out, but we're looking at the outside because we are doing our trebles. And with turning, if you continue in a round and don't turn, the seam is going to gradually go on a slant like that. If you turn at the end of each round, which I discovered on the adult top, the seam stays pretty straight and it stays to the side of the body, like what you would get if you had made a sewn fabric top. So yeah, the seam stays pretty straight. Very cool. We're going to treble. If you've got 3 chains, you're going to do a treble in each chain. Doesn't matter how many chains you've got, you're going to do the same. So we're going to treble into each chain. We got, personally, I've got 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go into those. I did find these pretty hard to go into when I made my adult size top. So what I did is just crocheted around the chain. So that's an option if you can't get it. But for some reason I need to be able to get these ones. So 1 treble in each chain under the arm there. and one treble in, one treble in each stitch around. So I'm going to meet with you when we are ready to join, so pause the video and I will see you there. So when we get to the end of the round, we are going to join to the top of the chain 4, which is our first stitch. Join with a slip stitch, and we're going to turn our work, so we're going to spin it round. So you'll now be looking at the inside of our work because we're doing our single crochet round, and that is our wrong side round. So we're into the same stitch, so we've just done our chain 1. In the same stitch we're going to work a single crochet and single crochet in every stitch around. And then when we come back around this side, we're going to come back around and we're going to join to the very first single crochet, turn our work, and then we're going to do a treble round, which was chain 4 and treble in each stitch around. And we're going to repeat this until we have the length of the top that we need. Just put it in the right way so you can see. Yeah. If you would like to turn this into a dress, I haven't done it myself, but I'm pretty sure this would work. On a single crochet round, so are we doing single? Yeah, on our single crochet round now, if you do 2 single crochets in each stitch, so increase in every stitch around, and then after that, when you do your treble round, just do 1 treble in each stitch around. That's going to increase around here, and that's going to make it look like a dress shape. So yeah, that's just one option you could do. I'm just going to make this into a top. I'm actually, to tell you the truth, running right behind on my tutorials, so I need to keep it quick and easy. And if I increase now, it's going to add a lot more stitches and take a lot longer to crochet. But definitely an option that you can do if you wanted to turn it into a dress. And I think that would look super cute, and please share it on my Facebook page. I would love to see it. So pause the video, and now we're just going to work on the remaining length of our top. So we're going to finish on a single crochet round. And I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds or rows, whatever, of the treble. And because we're finishing on a single crochet round, it's going to be on the wrong side. So after you've done your last round of single crochet, so you've done treble and then single crochet, you're going to turn your work and then just work 1 more round of single crochet, and that's going to bring you to the right side. So we've just done a single crochet round, I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then work back in the other direction. So it'll finish with 2 rounds of single crochet, but the last round will be on the right side. You can do as many rounds of single crochet as you want. That's what I'm going to do just for this size. And if you're making a different size than me, you may want to do different amount of rounds. And I'm going to put in a link in the description box to some child size measurements. And this is what I'm basing this off. I found some really good information on a website, and I'm going to put that link in for you just in case you need to do a different amount of rounds for a different age that you're making it for. So yeah, I'm going to finish off these rounds and I'll meet you in a minute. So here is my top. It's finished, almost finished. You need to sew in your ends. There's going to be one there. I think there's going to be one under the arm. Oh, I've sewn over mine, so... Oh yeah, there's one there. But I've crocheted over the other one. Here is my finished top. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. This is on a adult size coat hanger, and you can see it's just adorable. So please share your creation on our Facebook page. Love to see what you've been up to. And also if you've made this, you can share it there too. Also in the comment section, write what colour yarn you've used and also the brand. Would love to know. Please subscribe. Check me out on Patreon if possible, and that would be awesome. Check me out on Patreon. I'm over there now. There's all the links that you need in the description box for that. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet.